Good day, folks. My name is Todd, and on behalf of Bellcom Training, I'd like to thank you for joining me for video 8 of my Transparent Communication series. This one's going to be focusing on feedback. We've all had feedback, some good, some not so good. I don't like to focus on the not so good. I would rather call it constructive. That is important. There's a big difference there. We'll come back to that. Let's start off this discussion with this simple statement. Have you ever heard anybody say, "Tell me what I need to know, not what I want to know," or "Tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear," or some semblance of what I just said? There's a lot to unpack there. I've used this before, and I heard it many years ago from my boss and people that I've worked with that have been around for a while, and then I have adopted it. And there's a lot of truth when you say that to someone. You're telling them, give me feedback. And if you're in a leadership position, you should be giving your people feedback. But is it okay to give someone feedback if you're not in a leadership position? Yes. And I believe this plays a huge role in transparent communication. Let's just take this from a non-leadership position. Someone on your team. You and your team are working on a project together, and someone on your team comes up to you and says, "Hey, I noticed something. We're doing things this way. Maybe it would be more efficient if we did things that way," and you're part of that process. And they are essentially saying, "Hey, let's improve what your part of that process. Hey, let's try doing this instead of the way you're doing it." And they're trying to dodge around the bullet. And I've seen people do this a lot. "Look, just tell me. Tell me." Okay. How about if you did your part of the project this way? Oh, I didn't think about that. That is how things should go. People should be able to offer you advice, feedback on what you're doing. Maybe you're doing something a certain way that it does work, but maybe there's a better way to do it. Maybe they see something you don't see. The point is, people should feel comfortable enough to come up to you and talk to you and offer you words of advice that they're seeing that might help you improve whatever it is that you're doing. The purpose of feedback is to highlight strengths and make the person aware of potential areas of improvement. There is always room to improve. I've been doing this since 1989, and I still get little bits of feedback from people that I've presented to that say, "Hey, this was really good, but maybe you could try to do it this way, or maybe you shouldn't do it that way, maybe you should do it this way." And I'm being very vague right now, but the point is, somebody gives me advice, I'm going to take that advice because, one, I take that as a compliment. They feel comfortable enough with me to offer me words of wisdom that maybe I'm just not seeing. You're never too old to learn. That's my advice. That's my standpoint, if you will. Unfortunately, some people have a hard time hearing constructive criticism. Now, that's the important part. This must be constructive. If you're going to offer feedback to someone, it has to be in a way that's going to improve them, not belittle them. That is not constructive criticism. That's not constructive feedback. That's not improving them professionally. If you are there to tell them something that is going to hurt them, it's going to knock them down, it's not helping them professionally or personally, then you shouldn't be telling them that. It's just that simple. Constructive is the ways to help them improve. Give them that opportunity for growth. And again, if you are in a leadership position, you should be doing this. But at the same time, if you're going to offer constructive feedback to your reports, you have to be open to same from them as well, from your manager, and also from the reports that you are giving feedback to. We all need to have open minds for that feedback when it comes, because again, this is a growth opportunity for me to become a better version of myself. Now, unfortunately, This sometimes requires change. And people struggle with change sometimes, and I get it. I understand. Remember, I told you I've been doing this since 1989, and we've done things a certain way for so long, or at least I have, and then new technology comes out, and I have to adjust to that new technology. Another thing that's come out, I used to do this in front of people live all the time. That's the only way I ever did it, in a training room or in a conference room, face to face with people. Now I do it virtually over Zoom calls or Teams or WebEx. It's a different way of doing things, but you have to change along with the technology, and that's a big part of offering feedback. Oh, did you know this was out there that will make this or whatever you're doing a little easier? And some of us resist that change. It needs to happen. You need to be open to it. Change your paradigms, change the way you do things. But it's never just as easy as I'm making it out to be. I know that's a potential barrier for people. I understand that. But it's got to happen. And then finally, that last bullet point that you see, feedback must be timely. Look, if you see something and you say something to me in a short amount of time afterwards, let's say within 1 week, I'm going to be very thankful. Thank you very much for showing me that, pointing that out. But if you come to me 3 months after whatever, I give a presentation, you saw something that, wow, I think he could improve in this area, but you don't tell me right away. And 3-4 months later, you make a comment to me about that. It does me no good because I've moved on. I am now in doing something else, and I may not even remember doing that. It's not helping me by waiting. Now, I do understand feedback is tough to offer people. It really is. And you got to be very careful in how you present that feedback. But if you have open, trusting, transparent communication with the people that you work with, whether you work for them, with them, or underneath them, if you've cultivated that relationship, feedback is going to only make you better, as well as the person that you're offering that feedback to. Keep in mind, you got to be open to feedback when it comes your way as well.